Today we're going to be taking a quick first look at a game called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. Yeah, this is an open world RPG similar to the Elder Scrolls games. I obviously noticed that Oblivion was getting a hell of a lot of publicity this month with its release. But I played so much of that game in the past I just didn't want to do a video of it. This is currently in early access but is actually releasing at the end of May 2025. So I wanted to take a quick look at what it's like starting out in this game. The game does have character customization. You can just use a preset if you want, or just randomize it, or you can actually go in and, edit it to how you want it to look. Now, it's not super in-depth. You can't change every single part of your body. It's just some presets you can choose from. But for this game, I think it's more than enough. We'll go with this. You get to choose a name and difficulty level for the game, and then you start. So you start off in a prison cell, and this is how you kind of choose your character class, I guess it is. So these options you get to select here will give you different skills and different things depending on which you choose. So you have like the melee guy at the top, the hunter is the ranged guy, and then you've got a thief, and then you've got a magic guy. It's based around Arthurian legends. King Arthur is part of this storyline in this game. And there's quite a lot of magic in the world as well. I've not tried the magic in the game, but it's supposed to be really good. You get rescued by this guy with the bow. And basically your first objective is basically just to try and find out what the hell's going on and get out of here. And of course, we get to loot the guy that you were talking to. And let's take a quick look at the inventory system. It's quite an easy to use inventory system, really. When you're on your main character screen, you can select the body part that you want to equip gear on, and it'll give you a list of the items that'll fit there. Each of the items do have some basic stats, like armor value and so on, and you do get better gear as you get into the game. Weapon-wise, you can dual wield. You can dual wield different types of weapons. They don't have to be the same. You can have a shield equipped. There's ranged weapons. There's magic weapons as well. And there's also magic spells that you can get. The skill system is very similar to Elder Scrolls. The more you use an item, the more that skill will increase. And then on the left-hand side, you've got some kind of permanent buffs and debuffs. The Red Death is kind of the main story of the game. There's something going on in the world where it's causing this plague to spread. So I think the main story for this will be finding out what the hell's going on with that. The melee combat system, again, similar to Elder Scrolls. Left click is normal attack, and then hold is a heavy attack. You also have block, but you do burn stamina really fast. So if you're fighting groups of enemies, you've got to be careful and choose your attacks. And we'll see that in a bit. Again, like other RPG games like this, there's a lot of loot to find. You can pick up nearly everything you can see, really. So I would say it's probably not best idea to pick up everything, because some of it's junk. But some of it's worth picking up. Some of it will give you quests. They'll give you a bit of lore about the world. And food and health potions, of course, is important as well. And just a quick tip here. If you do start using ranged weapons, you can retrieve your arrows that you fired. So if you've missed them on the floor, you can grab them, or you can grab them out of the corpses of the enemies you killed. The game also has some crafting systems in it. This one's the cooking. Now you can just randomly put stuff together and make a random item, as I do here. And it makes a little bit of food that'll give you health over a certain amount of time. You can find recipes that are more specific. But yeah, you can experiment and do what you want, really. You can also click randomize like this. And it's worth having as much food as you can cooked up, because it does restore your health over time, and health pots are kind of few and far between. But this is basically the tutorial, I guess, of the game. It just takes you through all the basic stuff, gets you into some basic combat, and you just got to try and escape this castle. Let's take a quick look at the lockpicking system in this as well. It's very similar to other games. If you played Elder Scrolls or Fallout or something, it's very similar. And now we'll get to fight our first enemy. some guy in a red cloak. Again, we don't know what the hell's going on, but he's obviously doesn't like us. As you can see here, stamina management is important. I just went all out and just hit him as much as I could, and my stamina was just gone. So in group fights, you've got to be careful. And obviously you can loot people that you kill, so I've looted this guy and grabbed his knife. So I'm going to basically just dual wield, I guess, this club and his knife. I always find it useful to like explore the area you're in and pick up any useful items as well. And then what you got to do is, in this area, is just kind of explore around. You'll find people in the cells, and they'll give you a bit of insight to the story.
Drip. I told the priests.
Or just talk nonsense. Exploring around the area, you'll actually come across some undead as well. Again, it's all part of the story of what's going on in the world once you get into it. And these guys hit a bit harder than the first guy that I fought. So I have to use some food to heal up. And they got loot, but it's just junk. So we'll come here, and there's actually two of them as well. So we'll find our first little group fight here to see how hard it is when you are fighting multiple enemies. Oh, well. How hard it can be. Because you see there, you use up stamina so fast. So I guess when you level up, it gets a bit better, but starting out, it can be hard work, and you've got to be careful that you manage that. Yeah, I managed to do okay there, but I had to use a health potion to keep my health up. I wanted to show this interesting mechanic, so I don't see it much in games like this. So just grab the pickaxe. I'll equip it as a second weapon. And I can actually dig my way through this wall here. Now, you can't do it with every wall. There's only specific areas you can do it. But still, it's a nice little addition. And now I get to fight some people again. The further you get into it, you'll start encountering different types of mobs. This guy's like an undead version of those priests I was fighting earlier. And these two little crappy daggers that I picked up are bloody terrible. I'm not doing any damage to him. So I swap back to my club to see if I can help a bit, but still, it's not doing much at all. He is one tough cookie. Luckily his attacks are quite slow, so it's not too hard to block. But yeah, again, you've got to watch your stamina, because if your stamina's right down, you're not going to be able to block. As you can see, I leveled up here as well, but you can't actually level up until you camp, which I'll show a bit later. And you'll start seeing parts of this weirdness, which is this plague that's kind of affecting the world and the people around it as well. And obviously that's part of the main storyline, so I won't show too much of it here anyway. Oops. So yeah, when you die, it's not the end of the world. You just kind of reload at the last checkpoint. So I managed to find a bow, so we can have a quick look at this as well. The range system works pretty well. Obviously, the longer you hold the arrow, the slightly more damage it does. You can do quick releases for like less damage. But yeah, it works fine. I like the sound effects as well. It's a nice squishing sound when the arrow goes into them. But there are a decent selection of weapons in the game, I think. You know, from ranged weapons to melee weapons to, you know, obviously you've got all the magic as well, which I've not really looked at yet. I won't show too much of this part because it kind of goes into the main story a bit, but it's obviously some kind of other dimension that you find yourself into here, and you'll progress the storyline a bit. I do like some of the level and world design in this. There's some good detail in it. Like these guys, whatever they're doing, powering this object by pushing this around. Can't kill them, but they're pretty big. So we get to see our first little boss fight here. Obviously the bosses are quite hard, but I run in and try and melee this guy to see if I can get him down. I'm doing decent enough damage, but as soon as I get hit by him, yeah, my health flies down. But I do eventually manage to kill him and escape the castle. We go down here and we'll meet up with the guy that kind of rescued us at the start. And he'll give away a bit more of the story or what's going on or what he wants you to do. But I'll cut that out here. We don't need to see that. Finally, I just wanted to show what it's like leveling up. You get to choose a main base stat. I go with strength because I'm a melee guy. It kind of makes sense. But you also get to spend a skill point in one of these specialization skills. There's different fighting styles, or if you go up the top, you got endurance and dexterity and so on, so you can specialize in different areas. And every time you level up, you'll get points to spend in these to basically customize your character to how you want them to be. And then we get to leave the island and go to the main world. You get shipwrecked on the way. And you wake up on this beach. Still got all your gear and stuff, so that's the main thing. But now we're on the mainland, away from the tutorial area. And we can get into the real meat of the game. And this is the world map. Now, the world map for the early access, I believe, anyway. By all accounts, there is quite a bit of content here. And quite a lot to get into. But I don't think I'd bother now because there's actually going full release in a few weeks' time. And the save games will not be compatible. So, yeah, don't go spending too much time now. Just wait a couple of weeks and play the full game. And there we go, guys. That is Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Well, a quick first look at it anyway. Like I mentioned, this is releasing at the end of May 2025. I quite enjoyed this, and I think I'm going to play it when it releases. But I also quite like the world setting, you know, set in the Arthurian legends and so on. I guess if you're not a big fan of the Elder Scrolls style games, then it might not be for you. And the graphics might not be up to AAA standards, but they still look decent for an indie game. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching. If you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be working on my way through all of my Steam games and probably releasing a video once or twice a week. See you in the next one.